and every step quicker than the last. My feet tread down this beaten path, and I'll keep on pushing through.
Hey, it's Christina. Last time I was in lab and I was sharing with you about my professional life in Ann Arbor. And this time I want to share with you about my personal life. What else do I do as a PhD student other than research? And one of the really cool things about living in the Midwest is we have a lot of space. And so I have a basement and I got to finish it this past year. And so I was able to just make a lot of space for different hobbies. I've made a yoga area, kind of a lounge where I can eat, watch TV, play video games, play board games, kind of this table where I can do my crafting. Some storage, you can see the Keyblade reference. This stores different fabrics, poster board, and I haven't got the lights shades up. I need to cut them so that they can fit because of the rafters in this space. But it's a work in progress, and it's something I've been able to spend a couple years on. I've been in this apartment for 2 years. I moved in, this place was buggy. It was just some old boxes. Some of them had water damage. And so I started with cleaning up, and then I wanted a space where I could stretch out. The gym isn't always super appealing when it gets dark at 5 o'clock. So that's kind of what started this space. And I now have an ab workout I do with this ball, but originally it was just a yoga area. Some of the other cool features is this find of a painting I found at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. So every year Ann Arbor has this really cool art fair where thousands of vendors come from across the country. And this vendor actually had painted a picture from my home state in North Carolina, had white cedars, just was a beautiful rendering. And this was another piece that I think was just inspiring for meditations and workouts, and the different mindfulness I had kind of envisioned this area doing. I also have done martial arts, so I have some Taekwondo, different form books and pads to practice with. Then from there, I go on, I have a place to lounge. I can do different meal prep. Right now, I'm not super exciting. I'm having some rice, and then this is banana and acai ice cream that I whipped up. It's kind of lower calorie than some of the alternatives. I don't really know exactly what you want to be interested in by coming here, but I just want to give you a variety of things to know that there is time in life to, have hobbies, have indulgences, have a healthy diet. I have time to work out and make good food, and keeping my body in shape really helps me, engage my mind fully in the PhD program and teaching and outreach and whatever I may be doing that day. And I forgot to mention, but those cute little animals are some of my inspiration for what I do. So the Baymax doll is a movie that makes kids want to grow up to be mechanical engineers. And the Dr. Bear is from my internship at Children's National Hospital, where I was able to see the intersection of research and application. So I kind of keep them over there as a memento. But one thing I think a lot of nerds can relate to is just the influence gaming, both video games and board games, has had. So Pandemic is absolutely one of my favorite games. I keep here. This is an anniversary collection. It's cooperative. It helps you interact with others, have fun strategy, work out your muscles without being too competitive, without losing any friendships. The other thing is Kingdom Hearts just came out, so you might have saw the Keyblade I have. And I got this system, and it's since been able to be used to host movie nights where we've watched Marvels with some of my closest friends. I think I want to talk about a blog about community building, so kind of going from having space for yourself to recharge, having space to be with others, to know people in your program, and then to know people in your town beyond the school. So that's the trajectory I kind of want to go with these outside of lab vlogs. So let me know if that sounds interesting to you, or if you had any specific questions you would want to see answered within that. But for now, I just want to continue kind of walking and talking through this cavern tour, and yeah, just the different things you can do to recharge. So here is my crafts table and where we do the board games. I have some calligraphy stuff out right now. I think having messaging where you know that you're important, and for me, I view that through a Christian lens. So I'm not the most important thing. The world doesn't stop or start with me. And I think even from a humanist perspective, we are part of a bigger organism and a bigger purpose. And that remains true. And so it keeps me grounded that I should really invest in doing the best I can, and be happy with that. So helping, my family, my neighbor, but also performing well at work and knowing that contribution can move, whether it be the economy forward to some extent, but hopefully also science forward. And I think having these little reminders, for me, making quotes is one way to get at remembering that in the task I'm doing, because sometimes when you're in the minutia, you get lost in why you're here. So it helps me have that larger vision. Like I said, for me, that is really viewed through a Christian lens. May my work be for the glory of God. But even from a humanist lens or other religious lenses that you may have, I think connecting that driving purpose with your everyday activity is just really useful. So calligraphy is one way I've been able to do that. I originally started calligraphy after a summer in Japan. We had some instruction with brush calligraphy. Right now I was experimenting with quill calligraphy, so any tips on that? I was not successful with all the nubs and getting the ink flow right so far, but learning something new, even on this small scale, and things that aren't going to be a consequence, it helps me flex those muscles and know that it's okay, that if I can get through learning this thing I knew nothing about when I started, I can certainly get through learning about my field of research, which I have been studying for years now, depending on when you say I started engineering. I'm going on 8 years, and so I think, I know how to acquire new skills, and reminding myself of that and going through the learning process of something very simple, for example, using a quill, can just really inspire me to be like, I can learn this complicated mathematical equation, or I can learn this new machining technique, or an example, both of those things I'm working on in lab. An example of something I think I found intimidating outside my space was trying to learn the blood clotting chemical cascade. So from a physicals perspective, I was looking at how rigid the blood clot was. I was looking at the shearing flow, what velocity the fluid was traveling at. But when you talk about the chemical components and how they're going to act, that's much scarier to me. But I have reinforced to myself time and time again that I know how to learn. And I think that's something you want to be confident in as a PhD student, but also if you have that imposter syndrome, if you have that doubt, it isn't something you should use it as an excuse not to try your hand at research, but just as you get here and as you keep advancing, see if you can articulate those methods of learning and really get into a mindset where you're actively engaged, and you're able to troubleshoot yourself, like your methods of approaching problems, and then also what resources, when you do get stuck, should you be engaging with, should you go to. And so it's a big idea to get out of just that little book of calligraphy, but it helps put me in that mindset of self-reflection. And so these are some puzzles. Sometimes you just need brainless work, and that's puzzling for me. It's you're looking very closely at coloration, at pieces, and you're not thinking as much about super hard concepts. So we've made it to the library to edit, and we found out some of the video was a little bit distracting with the lighting, so I was just gonna recap here and then go back to my editing station. So I was talking about a video game called Journey, and pulling some analogies of how it's taught me lessons relevant to Ph.D. life. And one of the things is there's no traditional game over, no like one critical failure point. You fall off the map, you take a wrong turn, it just ends up taking longer. You learn different information. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. But yeah, it's not you do the same exact thing over and over again. It's pretty special, and I think that learning that there's multiple paths and not just one main way to go is really useful. Yeah, and so I think the last thing I want to share with you is just like everything doesn't have to be perfect. I've worked on this space because I like the idea of doing interior design, and there's so much events around it, the Marie Kondo literature and different meditation podcasts, all these things talk about space and how you use your space. And so I wanted to create that, but even if you have a much smaller, you have a New York City apartment and it's a 10 foot by 10 foot square, you can do something with that. You can purpose it in a way where you see things that inspire you, where your bed can double as a place you stretch, and you can encourage that by getting a yoga band or doing something silly, or finding even a communal space, a place in a public park or garden where you feel like you can relax and take a moment and be in your thoughts and not be worried for not just like where you feel safe, but please, I encourage you as much as you are able to feel safe in the space, but where you feel like you can explore your thoughts because there is room. There is nothing pressing in the environment, at least. It's hard to escape all responsibilities. I have a lot of responsibilities to my family that have been affecting me this past month, and that's okay. I am happy that they trust me and they love me, and they can reach out for support. At the same time, having this space to recharge where visual distractions are low for me, and I see things that remind me of positive contributions of things I have done and would love to do again, continue that momentum of helping a pediatric wing, or inspiring students with my outreach activities and designing new things for high schoolers to do in this coming session we're having with Detroit Public Schools, to feel like they can understand some of the concepts behind engineering and could study it for themselves if they want to. That's what a lot of these memories and these little trinkets or games mean, and they give me a space where I can consider that and not just consider, where's my next paper, where's my next ability to help in a very tangible way, either myself or others. And I won't to be able to recharge, because to do that, I need to have energy, and I need to be able to get inwards and not fix myself, but grow myself, and continue to mature, so that when I'm leaned upon, when I have bigger tasks, if I become a professor and I have grad students teaching and research, or perhaps one day if I adopt children, all these big grandiose thoughts, you can't be really good at being with others if you're not even good at being with yourself. So that's why, one of the reasons I carved out this space. And I hope it encourages you to, with whatever resources you have. A lot of this was thrift stores and secondhand rebuys, or things I had moved with the table I found by a dumpster, versus the carpet I did order special because I love the color orange. But yeah, life's what you make of it, and so making a space where you get to be in control and get to have a hominess is something I really encourage you. And it doesn't have to be this large, but think about one hobby you like, or one thing you don't want to forget, and place that not in a box, in a shoebox under your bed, but place it front and center into where you spend your evenings. I really just wish you all the best if you are trying to pursue higher education, and even if you're just end up watching this blog because I twisted your arm and you know me. I really hope it gives you a chance to reflect, and find a little zone to be yourself, and to grow. Bye.